I never thought the people who gave me life would one day try to take everything I had built away from me. The very people who should have protected me, who should have loved me unconditionally, dragged me into court and called me selfish, ungrateful, and undeserving of love. But that's exactly what happened. My own parents sued me. They stood before the world demanding that I give up everything I had worked for just to hand it over to my younger sister, their golden daughter. That day in court, I said nothing. I stayed silent as they hurled insults, twisted stories, and painted me as a monster. Everyone thought I was finished. Everyone thought I would bow my head and give up what was mine. But they were wrong. I had been waiting for this moment, and when I handed the judge a single file, the courtroom froze. My parents' smug faces turned pale, their voices cracked, and for the first time in my life, they begged me. This is my story. My name is Clara Thompson. I was born the first child in a family that should have been my home, my shelter, my comfort. Instead, it became my battlefield. From as early as I can remember, my parents treated me like I was invisible. Every effort I made, every achievement I earned was met with silence or worse, criticism. You could have done better, my mother would say, even when I stood first in school. My father would nod dismissively, barely looking up from his newspaper. But when my sister Emily was born 3 years after me, everything changed. She wasn't just the baby of the family, she was their golden child. Emily cried, and the whole house stopped. Emily smiled, and my parents clapped like she had performed a miracle. She got the best clothes, the newest toys, the biggest bedroom. And when I dared to ask why she was treated differently, my mother snapped. She's special, Clara. You should learn to be happy for her. So I learned to swallow my feelings. Growing up, I realized that no matter what I did, it would never be enough. I was the one who washed dishes while Emily painted her nails. I was the one who studied late into the night while Emily partied with her friends. And when I earned a scholarship to study architecture abroad, my parents didn't congratulate me. Instead, they sighed in relief because it meant they wouldn't have to waste money on me. Don't embarrass us, my father said coldly, handing me a cheap suitcase. I left home with nothing but that suitcase and a heart full of scars. But life has a way of rewarding silent warriors. Through sweat and sleepless nights, I built myself from scratch. I worked part-time jobs while studying, sometimes going without food just to pay my bills. I designed small projects, took freelance contracts, and slowly built a reputation in architecture. Years later, when I returned to my country, I wasn't the broke daughter they had thrown away. I was a successful architect. With my own money, I bought a house. Not just any house, it was my dream home. A modern, glass-fronted masterpiece I designed myself. Every brick, every corner, every detail was mine. It wasn't just a house. It was proof that I had survived without them. When I invited my parents to see it, I thought maybe, just maybe, they would finally be proud of me. But I was wrong. They walked in, admired the house for exactly 2 minutes, and then my mother smiled sweetly at Emily. It would be perfect for you, Emily. Imagine you and your fiancé living here. I froze. Emily's eyes lit up, and without hesitation, she said, "Yes, I love it. Clara, you should give this house to me. I mean, you can always build another one, right? You're the architect." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. But then I looked at my parents' faces. They weren't joking. My father cleared his throat. "You've done well for yourself, Clara. But Emily is about to get married. She needs stability. What kind of sister are you if you can't sacrifice for her happiness?" I felt my chest tighten. Sacrifice? This house was my life's work. Why should I give it away? My mother's voice turned sharp. Because she deserves it more than you do. You've always been ungrateful, Clara. After everything we've done for you. I couldn't hold back anymore. I snapped. Everything you've done for me? You abandoned me. You chose Emily over me every single time. And now you want to steal the only thing I built with my own hands.
No.
This house is mine. Their faces darkened. Emily pouted, her eyes filling with fake tears. "See, Mom, she doesn't love me.
She's always hated me."
My mother hugged her.
My father glared at me.
"You'll regret this, Clara," he said coldly. And I did regret it, but not because I gave in. I regretted that I ever thought they would change. A month later, a court summons arrived at my doorstep. My parents and Emily were suing me. Their claim? That the house should belong to Emily because, in their words, family comes first. They accused me of being selfish, ungrateful, and heartless. They even claimed they had supported me financially while I was abroad, which was a lie. When I read the papers, I almost laughed. But deep inside, I felt the old wound tearing open again. It wasn't about the house anymore. It was about the years of being unwanted, the years of being second best, the years of being treated like trash. I could have fought back immediately. I had all the proof I needed to crush them. But I stayed quiet. I wanted them to believe they had won. I wanted them to get comfortable in their arrogance. So when the trial began, I sat in silence. In court, they unleashed their performance. My mother wept dramatically, claiming I had betrayed the family. My father shook his head with disappointment, saying I was corrupted by pride. And Emily, she painted herself as the innocent victim, begging the judge to see how cruel I had been. The audience murmured. I saw the disgust in their eyes. I was the villain in their story, but I didn't flinch. I didn't defend myself until the last day of the trial. The judge turned to me. Miss Thompson, do you have anything to say before I give my verdict? The courtroom went silent. My parents smirked, certain of victory. I stood up slowly. My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't tremble. I've listened quietly while my parents and sister dragged my name through the mud. I let them speak because I wanted everyone to see who they really are. But now it's my turn. I pulled out a file from my bag and handed it to the bailiff. Inside this file were documents and evidence that revealed the truth. The judge opened it. His eyes widened. He flipped page after page, his brows knitting tighter with each line. Finally, he looked up at my parents. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, do you deny what is written here? My mother's face drained of color. My father stammered. Emily gasped. Because in that file were years of evidence. Bank statements, receipts, letters, and witness testimonies. Proof that I had supported myself completely, that they had lied under oath, and that they had financially exploited me when I was younger. But that wasn't all. I had uncovered something darker. They had secretly taken loans in my name when I was abroad, forging my signature, sinking me into debt I had spent years unknowingly repaying. The judge's voice thundered. This is fraud. If these documents are verified, and they will be, you could face criminal charges. My parents' proud faces shattered. Emily whimpered, clinging to my mother. For the first time in my life, I saw fear in their eyes. They turned to me, begging. Clara, please, we're parents. Don't do this to us. But I only smiled. You already did this to yourselves. The verdict was swift. The house remained mine. Their lawsuit collapsed. And worse for them, the judge ordered an investigation into their fraudulent activities. When we left the courtroom, they tried to stop me. My mother grabbed my arm, tears streaming down her face. We're still family, she pleaded. We made mistakes, but we love you. I looked at her hand on my arm, then into her eyes.
No.
Family doesn't destroy each other. Family doesn't choose one child and discard the other. You loved Emily. You chose her. Now live with that choice. I walked away. That night, as I stood on the balcony of my house, I felt something I hadn't felt in years.
Peace.
Not because I had won, but because I had finally broken free. For years, I carried the weight of their rejection. I thought maybe if I achieved enough, they would accept me.
But I realized something.
Revenge wasn't about hurting them. It was about setting myself free from the chains they wrapped around me. And when they begged in that courtroom, I didn't see my parents. I saw strangers who had lost the right to call me their daughter. I built my life without them once. I could do it again, but stronger, freer, and finally untouchable. The end.